Makes my butt quiver to think of all that stuff that doesn't make sense. Haven't had a birthday in 7 years.
Or how we've been changing voices for no reason.
Changing faces. Like that time when Rob turned everyone into pig-skinned versions of themselves.
Oh no, it started.
Oh yeah, what's our old nemesis up to these days?
What happened to Rob after the events of the Gumball finale? Is Rob dead? Is the void coming back? Will Banana Barbara's painting of the Watersons running through the void become a reality? Why was the void not mentioned in the new season? These are all of the biggest questions surrounding Gumball that have all been asked again and again for the last 7 years, all being completely unanswered and uncertain if they would ever be answered for that entire time. But now in the new Gumball season finale, the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball season 2 episode 20, The Rewrite, the Void and Rob's story officially continue, and all of these questions have now finally gotten some real answers. And it also gives us these answers whilst once again seemingly setting up the Gumball movie. The episode just feeling like a movie itself, but also through addressing the plot hole cliffhanger from the end of The Amazing World of Gumball, which is quite literally a big old Void plot hole to kind of create a new premise and plot of Rob and the Void story to return. But the episode begins with Gumball and Darwin, or more so Gumball, actually just fully acknowledging the fact that their world or just lives are just very weird, kind of breaking the fourth wall and becoming full on meta, realizing that they've been the same age for years, their voices have been replaced, their animation styles have changed, and the fact that Rob was literally turning everyone into real humans. And as Darwin asks what their old nemesis is up to these days, we finally see Rob once again, who is now working for the owner of the Awesome Store, which we actually did see in another episode prior in this season, being the episode The Cheapness, where we see the owner is actually a pretty nice guy, making what they reveal next honestly hit way more. The Awesome Store driver tells Rob that Gumball and Darwin are about to find the Void plot hole that he left when he apparently saved him, as we then actually get to see the exact moment literally directly after the events of the Inquisition, which was actually really cool to see. But as Gumball and Darwin, I guess, acknowledging the plot hole would cause Elmore to fall into the void, Rob and the Awesome Store driver now take fate into their own hands and rewrite the story, showing that the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball and possibly all of the Amazing World of Gumball is just a story written by the Awesome Store driver on a script that makes whatever he writes become reality, which is genuinely just insane. I didn't expect him to be that involved to the story's narrative, but he's quite literally the creator. But nonetheless, they then try to stop Gumball and Darwin from making it to school where the plot hole resides through putting a bunch of different nonsensical obstacles in their way that almost instantly make them realize that someone is trying to stop them from finding something. Rob then recalls the moment where they told him that he could be their mortal enemy, as well as the events of the remote, where he said he never wanted to be a villain, but now realizes that he kind of has to be in order to save them. And so once Gumball and Darwin finally do make it to the school, Rob then finally reunites with the two, taking the role of the villain, at least in their eyes, yet again, in which we also just get some of the most amazing animation of the school being cut up and the void just surrounding them with glitches everywhere, as Gumball then jumps in to kill Rob with an axe. This actually felt unreal when watching it for the first time, but nonetheless, we then cut back to the Awesome Store driver, who sees that the script that Rob wrote got a bunch of SMP notes for being too violent and for Rob's demise being too sad. And so what Rob expected to happen here and what he truly thought would happen here was his death. I don't know if killing Rob would have stopped them from finding the void, but that would have actually been the most insane thing to happen in this show ever if Gumball actually did just decapitate Rob with an axe. But nonetheless, Rob then falls into the void once again, and everything goes back to normal for Gumball and Darwin, as they then just laugh it off, which was a little strange to be honest. But nonetheless, we then go back to Rob falling in the void, who's then once again saved by the Awesome Store owner, who then actually retires and gives his job to Rob, saying that they're gonna need someone to protect the people of Elmore when they eventually do get pulled from the air. And as Rob asks what he should do when the void does come back, he says he just needs to press this button, which he then presses and sends sends Rob away, assumingly back to Elmore, as he then also leaves and retires, ending the season with whatever happens next kind of all up to Rob. So I guess the void serves as this thing that will inevitably come when Gumball ends, and I'm assuming that we'll get to see how that will play out when the series is over, or maybe in the Gumball movie, which of course I do hope we get. I wonder if every time he presses that button it kind of resets things so they can keep having however many seasons they want before the end does come. That would have to be my guess at least. Nonetheless, this episode was truly so good and honestly just blew my expectations of how they would handle the subject of the void and Rob and the cliffhanger out of the park. I genuinely think that this was the best way they could have possibly handled it. But let me know what you thought about this episode down in the comments. Were you satisfied with the answers we got? How do you want to see the void return next? Could it return in the finale of season 4 perhaps? But nonetheless, that's going to be the end of the video. So if you enjoyed it and want to see me talk about other episodes from this season, or even see me rank every episode, consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel, and I'll see y'all in the next one, whenever that is.